Hey guys, Mindset Coach Justin Malama here. Welcome to episode 4 in the Back to Basics series. Today we are talking about lights, camera, and action. So before we get started, just as always, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so you get the notifications. And please go ahead and set your timer for 5 minutes, do your blowout session, and come back and I'll be here when you get here, all right? Cool. All right, so now that we've gotten the blowout session on the way, thank you so much for doing that. I know sometimes it's a little more difficult on certain days, and today was probably one of those difficult days. Welcome to episode 4. In the previous episodes, we've talked about not wanting to talk about it. We've talked about the pity party, and now we've talked about course correcting. So now that we've talked about course correcting, we're going to go back to the workbook, and we're going to take a look at your action plan. This should be the next page in your workbook after the brainstorm. Okay, what I want you to do is this again is where you're going to separate a page per goal. So it's nice if you have a printer with a lot of paper, or you have that notebook that I keep telling you guys to get. All right. So basically with this is you're going to take the action plan, or I'm sorry, you're going to take the brainstorming goals, all those goals that you have, and you're going to isolate them. We have to make an action plan on how to complete those goals. Start with the most important to you. Find the most important that you want to get to first. All right, because you might have 20 goals. But we want to take the time to sort those out in order of importance. Let's do the top 3 for right now. You can always go back in the series, and once you finish the top 3, do 4 through 6, and then keep going on and on through your list, however long that is. Okay, but in this action plan, you want to follow the prompts that are below, because I've created this whole sheet, as to what decision are you trying to make. Okay, you're trying to complete this goal. Goal 1, I'm trying to get goal 1 done. What decisions are you making in order to accomplish that goal? How are you going to accomplish that goal? What are you going to do to get that goal done? Okay, now on that page, there is 3 action steps. Now you could have more than 3. You could have 5 action steps, but we'll narrow it down to the top 3 action steps. If I want to complete this goal, I made the decision to do this, and now I have to do action step 1, action step 2, action step 3 in order to complete that step. Okay, I have, in order to make this decision and make this work, I have to do these 3, 4, X things. Okay, write those down. Action step number 1 is, action step number 2 is, and now there's a section here that says advantages, disadvantages, and consequences. If you make this decision and you follow action step 1, what are the advantages to doing action step 1? What are the disadvantages to doing action step 1? What are the consequences if you do action step 1? You have to weigh the pros and cons for each decision that you make. And this is going to get you to actively think logically if you're thinking with emotion or you're thinking with common sense. I want you to do this for each single goal that you have. Start with the top 3 and work your way through the list in order of importance. All right? But you have to do this for each goal. And the great thing about this is you can always change it. You look at action step 1 and go, well, shit, that's not going to work. That's just going to make everything worse. How is it going to make it worse? What are the consequences if you do that? Or you can look at action step number 2 and see the advantages and go, wow, there's a lot of good things are going to happen if I do it this way, and I don't see many consequences. But you have to take the time to put in the work to logically step this through day by day. Because if you let your mind get carried away, you're not going to follow through. This is called accountability. This is how you keep accountability. This is what I would have you do if you were one-on-one with me. We would be going through this workbook, and I would be taking notes as to what you're telling me, and I would be holding you accountable. So because we're not on the phone right now, I'm holding you accountable. Are you going to follow through with these action steps? Are you going to figure out what works and what doesn't work? because you're never going to move forward until you figure out what works and what doesn't work. And this is going to constantly evolve. This is trial and error. This isn't going to get fixed overnight. So if you have to, go back through the workbook, go back through the episodes, replay them, and try to go through the sequence again until you find a positive outcome for the decision that you're trying to make. And if those decisions will work for your goal. If they don't, try to make some new decisions, think of some better ways to do it. If they're going to work for you and they are working for you, keep doing what you're doing. Always refer to your workbook. Always refer to these episodes. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will help you answer your questions. Until then, we are almost 1 minute over. Sorry about that, guys. I had a lot to talk about today, but we're going to continue on with the next episode right now.